Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this lovely Friday on Comics from the Future, our show we do every week where we're going to highlight some of the best variant covers, the best new series, first and foremost, and all the things we know you won't want to miss to put on your pull list. In case you don't know, my name's Megan.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason. We're with Infinity Flux Comics out of the lovely Chattanooga, Tennessee.
He brought it back. He brought back the lovely.
Lovely.
It wasn't lovely that past week. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching us. Before we begin, please take a second to subscribe. We hope that the information we provide here is useful to you. And all we ask is for some validation to watch that number go up. So thank you so much. All right, it is a fairly large week. Stuff from all the different publishers for you to check out. So let's get into it.
So all the comics we're going to go over on this show are all open order, meaning we retailers have not placed our orders yet, so you can order as many as you want and you're guaranteed to get them. The problem is a lot of people go in their comic store and they ask for things past this deadline where the orders are already in and we're not able to get more. That's why we consider this, I think, our most important show, because it's just sort of the show where you're guaranteed to get what you want. It guarantees that what we get, we have sales for. It's just good all around. So let's begin with featured comics. Our first section on some of the number ones that we just think people are going to care the most about.
And a big one that we've been waiting for. This is Gunslinger Spawn, one of the couple of new number ones that Todd McFarlane is launching in his new Spawn's Universe line. This is the one I've been most excited about. I mean, it's just, we don't have enough Westerns and comics now and everything. So this is the big number one. This is going to be a $5.99 issue, extra sized and everything. This is going to be written by Todd McFarlane with Alice Cott, who has done a lot of great stuff, especially with Image, and a bunch of different artists are on board with it as well. So if you don't know, Gunslinger Spawn is not Al Simmons. He's not, when you think of Spawn, he's not that Spawn, because Spawn has taken many hosts. It's very Venom-like in that way. So he was introduced in 2002 in Spawn 119, and the character is Jeremy Winston. So, and this takes place about 200 years ago in the Old West, and he was friends with Al Simmons' great-great-grandfather. So that's kind of how they have a little bit in common. But this is supposed to be really good for new readers if you haven't read Gunslinger Spawn. And what's really cool is this has 3 stories in it, and they take place in different time frames, because if you read Spawn's universe and some of the little bit they've teased with him recently, he's been in like the 21st century, but he started in the Old West, so we're going to get stories of him in the Old West and working his way up until the current continuity of Spawn. So I think it's going to be a really fun seeing how he adapts to all of this. We know later he like gets a motorcycle and stuff, of course, because he's just that cool. So yes, 3 stories, extra-sized issue, and this will continue on into the Gunslinger Spawn ongoing series, which Brett Booth will be doing the art for.
Motorcycles, they're kind of modern-day horses.
Yeah, I think that's the look they're going for.
Even Ghost Rider did that. The original had the horse, and eventually he made his way to a bike.
Yeah, so I think this is really cool. I'm really excited about this one. I mean, great character design. Look at that hat. So this is our main cover. This is the Brett Booth A cover. We have, of course, Todd McFarlane has to get his hands in there and get dirty with this cover. Really, really cool.
I wonder if they're going to confirm exactly how many gallons that hat is.
I was thinking the same thing.
Back when hats were measured in gallons.
It kind of looks like a 2-liter. And we have a Alexander cover, which is not ready yet.
Yep. Still, this is your chance to order it.
Yep. Then we have the Capullo cover, which is awesome. I love that. Still getting Capullo to come in there and do some Spawn stuff, because, I mean, he really defined the character.
Yep.
Then we have the KIRKMAN variant.
I think we misspelled it. That is KIRKMAN, not
Not Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we have the Revolver variant. Finally, this is the booth connecting variant. So if you remember, King Spawn had a cover that had King Spawn in the center with a ton of characters behind him. Now this one is going to be Gunslinger Spawn in the center with a bunch of characters behind him. And finally, the third part, the third series they're going to be putting out, I believe in December, is going to have the third part of this connecting 3 covers.
That's a lot of waiting to put together a cool image.
Yes.
So I'd also like to mention, we don't talk a lot about incentive comics on this, but there is a 1 in 250 incentive on this that Todd McFarlane himself signs. So I don't know, whatever store you order from, you might want to look out for that. We do have one that we're selling, but that's linked up with our Facebook stuff. And if anybody wants to know, just contact us after the show. It's pricey, as you can expect.
Yeah.
But the 1 in 1,000 that he signed on Spawn, or King Spawn.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a huge hit. We couldn't believe it. So I thought we'd be remiss to not at least mention that you can get a signed one of these if you're willing to shell out a lot of money.
That was a lot of really good information.
Thank you.
I know, Andy, we missed you.
I was gone a week.
Welcome back.
And I spent that entire week just prepping.
Do not think I'm going to follow it up that well. This is Nubia and the Amazons. This is going to be a 6-part miniseries coming out from DC. Check out that awesome A cover. This is written by Vita Ayala and Stephanie Williams with art by Aletha Martinez. I got to check out some of the artwork on this without the text, so gorgeous stuff. This is after the events of Infinite Frontier. Nubia becomes queen of Themyscira, and an evil is growing beneath the island, so she will have to be a leader, rise up, and help figure out what's going on and gather the Amazons to defeat whatever is happening. The mystery will unfold. In case you didn't know, Nubia is one of the first, if not the first, black female superheroes. So don't just get it for that, but a little bit of info for you. But yeah, 6-part new series. I know a lot of people have been asking us about this one, so here it's coming. And our B cover for this is featured right here. Did not write down the artist on that one, but
so it looks like she's got like a lion,
Yeah.
a lioness ally. That's pretty cool.
there's a couple covers on. Okay, yeah, and this is that was cover B. This is cover D.
Is that Frizen?
It has some of the same style. I'm not sure if it is.
Normally
but
I write this down, guys. I apologize. See, I told you I can't follow up with it.
you need a vacation.
Her outfit is really good. It shows it in like different levels and all through all these variant covers, but her uniform is quite gorgeous.
I'll be interested to see too when like Diana comes back into the picture. Are they gonna get along?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she doesn't really argue with too many people, especially her own Amazonians. But you know, is Nubia gonna continue to be the leader of the Amazons?
Right.
And I guess will Diana like take up her place in the Justice League? I don't know. It's cool they're really fleshing out the Wonder Woman universe.
Yeah.
Because she really hasn't had too many. Like she hasn't had like Batman has his Bat family.
Right.
So I think it's cool they're adding these other pieces in there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, so from Marvel, this is a pretty cool mini-series. This is called Black Panther Legends. It is a 4-part mini-series that delves into the origin of T'Challa. So, you know, T'Challa is one of the greatest Marvel characters. He's somebody you really look up to and respect. He's like a Captain America sort of character, just steady, wise, smart, courageous. I don't think we've ever had a really good origin tale of his, meaning here's him from childhood, and here are some of the things that happened in his life growing up to turn him into the man he becomes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this series is. And as you can see, issue 1, he's starting a boy. But over the course of these 4 issues, you're going to see his first meeting with Storm from the X-Men. You're going to see the day he decides to allow the Fantastic Four into the borders of Wakanda. But I like that it's starting so early. That's what I'm really interested in. This first issue, it's supposed to focus on him growing up with his older adopted brother, Hunter. And so they like each other, but they don't, because Hunter is older than him, and thus probably feels like, hey, I probably should be king. But because he's adopted, the throne has to go to T'Challa. Well, some tragedy strikes, and they have to deal with that, and it's one of the things that's going to make him into the man he becomes. So I think this is a great idea for a series on a character that I'm very interested in, and periods of his life that I don't think are very well explored. So this is the A cover. Here is the B cover. This is the artist's last name is Blake. And then we have the Brian Stelfreeze variant, or at least a representation that there is one. And we say this every show, but when they don't have the covers ready for us retailers to order, we barely order any because we don't know what we're getting. So if you're a fan of Stelfreeze or you just want all the covers, that's why ordering now is just so important.
Now this is a big one. This is a one-shot, but this is Batman Long Halloween Special #1. So it's a one-shot, but this is 25 years after Batman The Long Halloween. I mean, that has become... There's a few books that are, we call them evergreen titles or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, new people come in to read comics, and these are the ones you hand them. Of course, Batman Long Halloween is one of the main ones. Just had the animated 2-part movie and everything. People love this story, and I think a lot of the new movie with Robert Pattinson is taken from Long Halloween as well. So really influential, and great to see they are coming back to it, because this is the original team of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, and our friend Richard Starking's doing the lettering, just like he did 25 years ago. And this picks up with, it doesn't tell you a lot in the solicitations or anything, but there is some kind of buried secrets in Gotham that people thought would be gone forever that start to get revealed. And what I think is really cool, because I know Richard, so what did I do? I just texted him and said, hey, tell me something about this series that, no one really knows yet. No spoilers, but what's something you could tell me about it? And he said that this story is very specifically a continuation of Two-Face. Or the Two-Face part of the original story.
Right.
If you've read it, you know kind of all about that Two-Face was a major player in this. But this it sounds really cool that it's continuing some of those story threads that were left in there. So you heard it here, that little bit of information that this is a very specific continuation of the Two-Face story from Long Halloween.
We got some connections.
We've got some connections. I need to start pulling out my Rolodex more often. So this is the A cover, of course, done by Tim Sale. Then we have the B cover, also done by Tim Sale, and you can see right there with the Two-Face.
Very gruesome on the other, like almost no skin left at all.
Yeah. Well, it's been some time later, so what was left there is just kind of fallen off.
Also, the timing on this, the fact that they are getting this out right at Halloween.
That's perfect.
Just perfect.
Really cool.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Darkhold Iron Man. I talked to you guys about the main Darkhold series that is going on a few weeks back. It is going to also consist of these one-shots. As you probably remember, and if you don't, a nefarious character has gotten hold of the Darkhold book, and in order to defeat the power behind it, Scarlet Witch has gathered up some team members, and they're going to work on it together. However, they each have to read from the book, which will drive them insane, and just, it's going to wreak havoc on their lives. So what's going to happen in this one is, first one is going to feature Iron Man, and this, instead of his armor doing all the great, amazing things it does for him, it will instead become his prison. And the solicitation describes this as a body horror issue. So, very interesting. You can very much see that on the cover here, a little bit what to expect. So, I'm looking forward to this series. I actually think it sounds really cool and creepy, and like a different direction for sure for our characters. So, one that will break their brains.
So instead of man in the iron mask, it's like man in the iron suit. The
Yep.
whole suit is his prison.
Exactly.
I like that.
Okay, so we do have a couple different covers for you to choose from. Unfortunately, you can't see this one. This is going to be the CAMUNCOLI variant. And then we also have the CASANOVAS. This is going to be a connecting variant. Unfortunately, you can't see these, but I've had a lot more people wanting to do the connecting covers lately. They'll find out about it after the fact. This is before the fact.
Yeah, that sounds great. I like the Marvel What If sort of
Mhm.
tales. I liked Heroes Reborn. I'm looking forward to reading that. And
Yep.
once again, perfect
Another
story
great thing
for
for
around
Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Thank your future self by pre-ordering these creepy books now.
Okay, so check out the premise to this new Aftershock book. This is an ongoing title. It is called Cross to Bear. It has to do with Jack the Ripper. So Jack the Ripper was never caught. Why is that? This title claims that he traveled to the US to get away, and he ends up in the Wild West, where he continues being Jack the Ripper in a land that's so wild you can kind of get away with that.
Mm.
Well, who are these fellows on the cover? This is a group called the Order. They're descendants of the Crusaders, and they have pledged an oath to stop all sort of unnatural evil. And so they are tracking him to the Wild West. They cross the ocean, and they're going to hunt down Jack the Ripper in the Wild West. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Like, I read that premise. I was like, I can't wait to tell people about this one. I want to check this out.
And more
So-
Wild West comics.
Yeah.
Gunslinger Spawn, and now this.
I know. Yep, they're building up finally. So it's just the one cover. There is an incentive cover, but we don't show those on the show. We only show open order covers on the show. So just this cover. I hope that some of you choose to order it. I think it sounds neat.
Is it a miniseries or an ongoing?
It is not announced as a miniseries, and it's not a one shot. So I think it's an ongoing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next one is another big one, size-wise and creative team-wise. This is a new Black Label book called Catwoman Lonely City. This is issue number 1 of 4, and this is completely headed by Cliff Chiang, who you may know if you read New 52 Wonder Woman. Great art in that, and the artist of Paper Girls.
Okay.
Very big series from Image. And this one takes place where 10 years ago there was a massacre called the Fool's Night, and it took the lives of Batman, Joker, Gordon, Nightwing, and sent Catwoman to prison. So you've got basically like,
Wow.
you kind of wipe the slate in Gotham, and now Selena Kyle is out, and Gotham is being run by Mayor Harvey Dent and his Bat bots. So it's like he didn't like Batman, but he thought, hey, there might be something to this bad idea. So this is going to have Selena Kyle kind of retracing her steps, figuring out kind of the new lay of the land, and she is going to go to the now defunct Batcave because there is a new character called Orpheus. And there might be clues to who this character is in the Batcave. So I've seen some pages from this. It is beautiful. Cliff Chiang is an amazing artist. And I don't know, it sounds really cool. I love that it's like focused on Catwoman, especially when you take all the other pieces off the board.
Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of left to be the hero or still cat burglar in Gotham. Because it says like Gotham has moved away from the superheroes and the capes and all of that, and it's kind of restarted. So really cool. This is the A cover. Then we have the Cliff Chiang B cover, and in it she does wear a lot of the different costumes, and really cool to see some of the purple costume, her very first costume, all of those make an appearance.
And also you can see she's got a little white to the hair.
She's got a little white, yeah.
Yeah. So
All right, this is Star Trek Mirror War number 1. So you guys may have thinking you have deja vu because Mirror War number 0 came out this past week. This is going to be an ongoing series. So this is, of course, set in the Mirror universe where we have sort of just the opposites of what we traditionally think of these characters. The basic premise for this is that the galaxy is at the mercy of a more cunning and cruel Picard, which is a very scary concept. Should be to anybody. So just want to let you know that that Zero issue was not a one-shot. This number 1 is still coming down the pipeline, and this is also going to feature spin-off one-shots that will delve into each character. And the first one is going to come out in December, and it's going to focus on Data. So that is coming out. This is the A cover by J.K. Woodward and the Madriaga cover.
Interesting.
Very neat.
Yeah. So there is another Batman Fortnite one-shot coming out. I basically just read the screen there. So I assume this is going to come bagged like the other ones did, and this is the bag on it. So we don't have the cover. The A cover is being done by Greg Capullo, so I bet it's going to be fantastic.
Yep.
We don't have it. I don't know. I don't think anyone has it, so you're just going to have to trust that. Now, Batman Fortnite, the series, did really, really well. I think it would have done okay, but them giving the codes for the skins in the game pushed it over. This is going to have another code for another skin that is exclusive to this. So just go ahead and start telling every person under the age of 18, and we're going to stockpile these because of how many they sold and how many people wanted them. Now, from a reader perspective, Scott Snyder's writing this one. He's co-writing it with the person who wrote the last one and Donald Mustard, who is the writer of all the Fortnite stuff. In addition, this is going to be an oversized issue. I believe it's a double-size issue, which I like. When you do a one-shot, you need a little bit more room to breathe to tell the full story. And in this one, Fortnite Island is coming to Gotham.
Oh,
yeah. So cool. It's not just Batman and Catwoman being there. Now the Fortnite things are going to show up in Gotham. So how far are they going to take this Fortnite? Coming into the Batman world. I don't know. So this might just keep going and going and going. So I still thought it was quite noteworthy. So this is the A cover, or what we know of it. And then there is going to be a B cover. Of course, they don't have that either. But there will be a Garner B cover.
The show with no covers.
It gets better from here. So, and we check for the covers up to the last minutes before the show. Often we add in several, but they're just late on them this week.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up is other number ones. These are ones that we didn't feature. They're still very cool, but we can't feature everything.
So this is a really cool thing. It was just announced like a week or so ago that Diamond will not be doing the Halloween Comic Fest, which was like a yearly thing. Not quite as big as Free Comic Book Day, but they would still release some free comics kind of as a trick-or-treat style to hand out to people. Well, Marvel said, we still want to have one. So Marvel is doing Marvel Halloween Comic Book Extravaganza. Now, Jason and I did a lot of research to find out when does this actually happen, because there's very conflicting dates. Some things say it's in store on the 20th. Some things say that the actual extravaganza is on the 27th. Not quite sure. We actually contacted some of the people, the distributors, to find out what is the official date of that. So I'm sure we'll be making an announcement about that closer to time when we get the exact dates and everything. So Marvel is releasing a few reprints. These aren't new issues. This one might be a new cover for Daredevil. I'm not sure if we've seen this cover before, but they do have the little badge at the bottom to let you know that they are from the Extravaganza Halloween Fest. So the first one that we're getting is Daredevil, and they're calling it Daredevil number 1, but it's actually Daredevil number 28, which was when Elektra became the new Daredevil and everything. So if you miss getting that very big issue, this will be a great one to grab if you just want to read it. Then we have Hawkeye number 1.
That's so great that they're re-releasing this one.
Marvel knows what they're doing because I believe in November is when the new Hawkeye Disney Plus show starts, which of course is going to bring Kate Bishop into it as a new Hawkeye. And she had this, I don't remember if it was a mini-series or an ongoing, but she had this one series that was mainly focused on her being Hawkeye. So if you don't know anything about the character and you want to get prepared for the new TV show, here's another great one, free to pick up, at least at our store.
Yeah, because finding this one in the wild is getting pricey.
Yes.
Ever since the Hawkeye trailer dropped.
Then we have Miles Morales Spider-Man #1, which is not the very first Miles Morales Spider-Man series, but one of the more recent ones. Another great one. I mean, they really are doing a great job pinpointing what characters to do, because these are the characters that people are really into right now, especially newer readers who just came into it with this newer wave of characters.
These are good issues, and that cover is just fantastic.
It is really good. And then another great one to have is Star Wars High Republic #1, and this is the #1 of the recent High Republic series. So another great jumping on point, considering we're not too far into the series yet. So if you have some people you know who are into Star Wars, but they haven't read this yet, this is a great way to get them into it with a free issue 1.
Yeah, so there'll be more details from us in future shows as to when the exact release date is. We don't know if all the stores have to do it on one day or if there's the first day we get it and then you can hold your event whatever day after. I actually emailed our Marvel rep several hours ago, and I was checking while you were talking. I was like, did they get back to us? Because I would live on air say, here's the date.
I don't care what they say. I'm doing it on the Wednesday before Halloween. It's going to be free for kids.
What about it? What about a Saturday though? Saturdays are good to do events too.
Well,
see, now you found our problem.
Both, I say.
But people have to bring their trick-or-treat baskets.
Yes, you must bring a little pumpkin. All right, No One Left to Fight, Volume 2. This is just putting it on your radar if you enjoyed the first volume. This is by the same creative team. This is going to be a 5-part miniseries, and it's described as a loving tribute to the Dragon Ball and Street Fighter stories of the past. So it picks up right where the last series left off, and wanted to make you guys aware that the alternate covers are going to connect for this series. So going to be 5 parts. The alternate covers will connect.
I really liked the first one. I read the whole thing because I am a big Dragon Ball fan from back in the day. And this is funny because you can read it and be like, you can almost see a 1-for-1 of the characters. But the story of it is, like, after everything, what if they just beat all the bad guys? What do these people who, like, their entire lives were centered around fighting? What do they do now when there's no one left to fight? Do they turn on each other? I mean, do they try to have normal lives? It has a really good sense of humor. The art is great. Like, this cover is a great representation of the art in it. But I think for fans of pretty much any kind of shonen anime or manga will really like this too. It's a lot of fun, a lot of action.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's like, I used to be powerful enough to break the moon in 2. What do I do now that there's no more enemies?
Yeah.
I just go on picnics or whatever. So this is another Transformers miniseries. They're really coming out with a lot of those. This is Transformers Wreckers, Tread and Circuits. So the Transformer Wreckers, they are sort of undercover agents who pose as a stunt team. So they do races, they do stunts, they do all this exciting stuff that's supposed to be for entertainment, but really they're working for the Autobots. They're trying to stop, nefarious plots. In this, they join this race. It's called the Speedia 500 race, where the winner of the race gets to rule over a planet. That's how this planet decides who its ruler is. Like, if you're fast enough and you can win this race, well, then you're a good ruler. And, of course, there are evil villains trying to take over. And so the Wreckers have to join the race to try to figure out who the bad guys are. They're not necessarily trying to win. They're just trying to keep things fair. So I think that sounds interesting. Really, I hear the premise and it's like undercover. That sounds neat. But really, I just want to see Transformers doing stunts.
Yeah.
That to me sounds good enough right there. So this is going to be a 4-part miniseries. And here is your B cover by the artist's last name is Malk.
Next up is Eternals Forever. This is a one-shot. I had to do some deep diving to find out, is this a new miniseries or what? But this is a one-shot. And it's supposed to be a really good kind of introduction to the Eternals for people who aren't as familiar, which is most of us, because I have not met someone who is an Eternals expert yet. I would love to pick their brain. But this takes place at a kind of a tipping point for the Eternals, and Icarus, who is kind of the main Eternal. I feel like if you know the Eternals, you at least know Icarus. He has been brainwashed by the Deviants to attack the other Eternals, and it's up to Gilgamesh and Sprite to stop him. But what it sounds like more is a good way of incorporating all of the Eternals and the concept of the Deviants, and kind of give you, some lowdowns on what are their powers, who are they, what are they doing, all of that kind of stuff. So I believe it's kind of a giant-sized issue as well. It is by Ralph Macchio, but not that one. I'm sure that he hears that all the time. And the art is by Ramon Bax. So this is our A cover by Todd Knock. And then we have the Frigeri B cover.
Marvel, they've been sort of spoon-feeding very slowly Eternal stuff to catch people up, because Megan just reviewed Eternals Thanos
Rises.
Rising #1, which was a one-shot as well, which was more of a history about Eternals and why they don't have kids than it was, a Thanos thing. The other thing I have to say, I'd be remiss to not mention this. The redundancy of the title here amuses me. Eternals Forever. I'm an English guy, so.
All right, next is ETER. This is from AWA Upshot Comics. This premise is probably one of the best I've heard from them personally. It is about the galaxy's leading medical facility and its interplanetary crew. So you're going to have all the doctors, nurses up there in the sky, going on various extraterrestrial missions. This one has 2 stories of medical madness inside, so it'll be really cool to see. Hopefully they'll explore different alien medical problems, and I'm sure we'll see lots of goo and weird innards flying out at the on the pages. So yeah, it seems pretty cool.
If the comic is anything like your description, I really want to read this.
You just open it, you're like, oh my gosh, stuff's flying everywhere.
This is what I hope for.
Okay, so now there's going to be a new James Bond comic. There's been a lot of them, but the movie is finally coming out, I think in 2 weekends from now. Much delayed, so I think them sort of lining this comic up makes some sense, and this is your chance to order it before everyone sees the movie and goes, oh man, I want to read a James Bond comic. Too late, no one ordered enough. So this is James Bond Himeros. And Himeros, I think, is the Greek god of like love or desire. So that apparently figures into the story, because the plot is that James Bond has to investigate the suspicious death of an international sex trafficker. I don't know why there'd be a suspicious death to that. It seems like if you're doing shady things like that, you end up dead. That's part of that life.
You signed up for it, yeah.
Yeah, so, but this is the A cover, and then here is the B cover by Gweiss. I may be mispronouncing that.
It's going to be hard not to read it as James Bond hemorrhoids. Anyways, this is a new one-shot from Aftershock called After Dark. So, I mean, Aftershock has just been cranking out these oversized magazine-sized one-shots, but this one's a little bit different. Before we just kind of got the one story by one creative team, this is a kind of an anthology of short stories, of course, just in time for Spooky Month. And this is going to be written by, of course, Cullen Bunn's got a story in there, but also Jim Starlin, which, I mean, cool to see Jim Starlin coming back in there. We also have Joe Pruitt, which I believe is another Black Eyed Kids story, from what I could tell. Right. There wasn't a whole lot of information about the, like, what the stories are. It mostly just talked about, like, who the creative teams were. And finally, Frank Thierry, all coming together to write a couple of really cool sounding short stories. So, yeah, if you enjoyed the other ones, I've read most of these one-shots they've put out, and they're really good. I like this format for this one-shot story. And it's only $6.99.
It seems like they're probably also doing this anthology for Halloween.
Yeah.
Another book that's You could just make a good Halloween night comic list
Yeah.
with the stuff on this show.
Okay, this actually is something we talked about last week, but a new cover came to be, so we wanted to show you guys. This is, speaking of Aftershock, Chicken Devil #1. The premise was that this is about a franchise owner or chain restaurant owner of hot chicken restaurants. His business partner is in with the mafia, and he has to don this Chicken Devil outfit to go deal some justice. So this is the mask variant that's available this week. So if you signed up for that series, let your store know if you really need this one, because it looks pretty crazy cool.
You'll have a costume to answer the door when trick-or-treaters
Yep.
come up. You're the chicken
You're
mask.
the Chicken Devil.
Yeah. Okay, so this is another Rick and Morty miniseries. Rick and Morty Mr. Nimbus. This is just going to be a one-shot, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And this tells the origin of Rick Sanchez's greatest enemy, who's just introduced on the season premiere of season 5, Mr. Nimbus. He controls the ocean and the police. I have to say, I watched the episode. I loved it. He's one of my favorite characters they've created in Rick and Morty in a long time. Mr. Nimbus is hilarious. So if you haven't seen that episode yet, seek it out. It's great. And now we're going to get to find out what his origins are. Maybe more of his connection with Rick. More of maybe how he controls the ocean and the police. So this is the A cover, and then there is the B cover by Hobbs. All right, and now we're on to cool covers and other comics. This is going to be variants. This is going to be issue number 2s and 3s. We like to tell people about those. Just, make sure to sign up on ones you like, because after issue 3, we start cutting down our numbers of orders.
So first off is Maze Book number 2. We got Maze Book number 1, I think about 2 weeks ago, and you really liked it, didn't you? You reviewed that one.
If you're a Lemire fan, I mean, it's just him doing what he wants to do. It feels like nobody's pushing him to make things that are more marketable than just good writing.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing with it.
So this one continues the story of, I believe his name is Will, who is grieving the loss of his daughter, who has died, but then receives a mysterious phone call from his daughter saying that she's trapped at the center of a labyrinth, and now he's frantically trying to figure out what that means. So if you like number 1, make sure that you're on pull for number 2 and beyond, because once again, we'll be ordering less and less as it goes.
Okay, this is My Little Pony Friendship is Magic 102, and we're featuring this because this is the last issue of the series. Such a long-lasting, enduring comic series that I can tell you, not only loved by children. We have quite a few people who you would not expect read this series, so just a really cute, lighthearted thing coming to an end. Surely there will be another ongoing series started up, but just wanted to make you guys aware this is the last issue, last chance to get some My Little Pony action.
My niece is sad that the series is
Yeah.
ending. I wonder why it ended at 102. Like, that's such an odd number to end.
Maybe they were beating a Guinness record of some sort.
Maybe. You mentioned
Who will
that.
live? Who will die?
My Little Pony. All right, this is the B cover. This is the Justusa.
And maybe it'll continue into My Little Horses.
They
grow up.
just a
They
little
grow
bit.
up.
Yep. Okay, so this is the David Mack cover for Norse Mythology number 5. It's such an awesome cover. We just had to put it on there. We have some people who've been buying this. They didn't start reading it at the beginning, but the cover drew them in, and now they're reading it too. So we thought we'd show this off. In this issue, Thor, Loki, and Homnir, they go after the apples of immortality. That old mythological fable told by Neil Gaiman.
Next up is Amazing Spider-Man 76. So now we're getting into the new era of Amazing Spider-Man. And I thought the solicitation for this one was funny because it promises it will remind you why you love and hate comics. So, I mean, you can tell they're really hamming it up here with, is Peter Parker going to die or
Right.
whatever. I still kind of think he's probably just going to retire with Ben Reilly stepping into the shoes of Spider-Man. But I think this is a really exciting time to be a Spider-Man fan. A lot of really cool stuff going on. So this is the A cover for Amazing Spider-Man 76. And we have the variant, which is the Jusco variant.
I do have to add, there's been solicitations in the comics about Amazing Spider-Man sort of welcoming the new Spider-Man. I'm not going to reveal it, but there's a hint as to Peter's, what happens to him in that solicitation. You'll see it in the ads, those of you who read Marvel stuff.
Okay, so we are going to show you a few, as Andy just showed you one, of the Jusco. These are called the Masterpieces variants. So you just saw the one for Amazing Spider-Man 76. Let's check out a few more. This is for Avengers 49.
That is
featuring
a nice
She-Hulk here.
That is a nice jazzercise outfit she is wearing.
Yes. Next up we have X-Force 24. Iron Man 13. Masterpiece variant still.
That is pretty cool.
Looks like he's grabbing the lightning and then shooting it back.
I see that. I like it.
And then we have X-Men number 4.
He is angry. Look at the neck. When the neck does that, you're Henry Rollins.
No
angry.
good. So there you go. If you want to continue or start getting those Masterpiece variants, let your store know.
All right, so speaking of X-Men number 4, check out this Halloween issue that Jerry Dugan has ready. Do you see what that is? That's the Headless Horseman.
That's great.
Yeah, with Cyclops' head, like, shooting or whatever. Anyway, I don't know if that happens in the issue, but it is a Halloween issue that Jerry Dugan's writing that it puts the X-Men up against the Headless Horseman.
I love the idea of, like, can we make the Headless Horseman a mutant? Just like Santa Claus was hinted at also being a mutant.
I mean, just what a great idea for a Halloween issue.
Yeah.
Although the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, well, the Headless Horseman, what are his powers? Well, he's undead. He chopped off heads. But he's going against the X-Men. They have a lot of powers.
He's a really good horseback rider.
I hope so, because he could easily be outgunned by them and their Omega-level friends. Here is the variant. This is the Dodderman trading card variant.
Nice.
This is just beautiful. The more I look at this one, the better it is.
Next up is Kazar, Lord of the Savage Land number 2. And this continues. We just got issue 1 of this like 2 weeks ago. Kazar is dealing with some big changes happening in the Savage Land. There's a plague that's taking over. And a lot of weird stuff going on with his family. So if you read number 1, you liked it, sign up for number 2. This is the A cover. And then this, really nice, is the Massafera variant. Which
is very nice.
Getting a lot of Alex Ross vibes.
I know, I was wondering, yeah.
Alright, next up is Kang the Conqueror number 3 of this 5-part mini-series. You're looking at the A cover right now. In this issue, a young Kang is trying to stop his future self, and so he's following him to his first meeting with the Avengers. So, what will go down? What will transpire here? This is, like I said, the A cover, and then the Ron Lim cover B.
So, Miles Morales number 31. On the cover, you see Miles and you see Starling. Well, they're going on a date. He's taking out Starling, but at the same time, somebody has hired Taskmaster to take out Miles in a more violent way. I was trying to make that all work together.
It's good. I got it.
So Starling, for those of you who don't know, she premiered back in Miles, I think, number 5. She's the granddaughter of the Vulture.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little bit of extra information. She's not bad, though. She's a hero.
And we do know that also Ben Reilly and Miles don't see eye to eye. They're going to be having a smackdown coming up soon. So it'll be cool to see if there's some of that in there as well.
That's a good point.
Next up is Dr. Aphra, number 15. Still part of War of the Bounty Hunters. But some really cool variants for this one. So this one is called the Carbonite variant by Sarah Pichelli, which is, I guess, just a gray version of the A cover.
Yep.
Just like they did the Crimson variants before. Mm. Then we have this, which is the Friends, Frenz. They could be friends. I don't know. handbook variant. So I'm guessing this is going to have that block of text next to it like the Spider-Man ones did.
I see.
That's usually how they do the handbook variants. They just don't have all the description
All
and
the
everything
copy on
there.
yeah.
But it'd be cool if we get it for all of the different bounty hunters. Then we have the Sprouse Lucasfilm 50th Anniversary Edition. This time with some of the Clone Wars stuff on it. And then another really cool Star Wars book coming out. This is Ghosts of Vader's Castle, number 4 of 5 of this 5-part spooky Star Wars story from IDW. And this is the Charm variant, which one of the creepiest covers.
So I put this screen on, knowing you were hopefully going to do it. I was going to see, who is this?
That's a little Anakin.
I thought it was
but
Anakin.
with like
I was
Sith
wondering
Lord
about that.
eyes.
Okay, I just needed you to confirm without me saying. I was like, I think that's the creepiest Anakin.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, next up we have Power Rangers number 12. This is cover F, the FOC reveal variant. Looks like we have an Omega level Ranger here on this cover, so didn't want you to miss out.
All right, I put issue number 1 of this as my favorite read the week it came out. This is Dead Box number 2. This is the regular cover, and in this, so the solicitation was funny. It says that somehow during a swap meet, this couple, their marriage becomes in dire straits. Now, I don't know how a swap meet does that to a marriage, but that's what they say. And so they turn to the Dead Box to get a rom-com to help out their failing marriage. And of course, it's not going to go well. So I think this sounds great. The first issue, the sci-fi movie within the issue was awesome. Very creative, sort of Ice Cream Man vibes. Not quite as dark, at least yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with a rom-com within the comic. And just how deadly this Dead Box can get.
Also, there's a monkey getting a banana movie. So
I mean, the cover, yeah.
It sells
that.
it alone.
And so here is the B cover to it by Howl. I'm guessing that's probably the couple there. And I see what looks like a devil holding a needle. That's probably not good.
Next up is He Who Fights with Monsters, number 2. So this is the series that is, seems to be, we haven't got issue 1 yet, but
Right.
monsters versus Nazis, but the monsters are like the good guys. I'm not sure, we'll have to read issue 1 to find out, but the big, one of the big selling points of this is, the art is done by Deladera? Is that how you say it? Deladera, who is the artist on Something is Killing the Children.
Yeah, this is one I wouldn't sleep on. The number 1 sounds really good, and unfortunately, they're making us order our number 2 before the number 1 arrives.
Yeah,
I have a feeling the number 1 might be a hit, based on the premise, based on the artist, but we'll see. So you may want to order this number 2 in advance to make sure you get your copy of it.
And then we have the variant, which is another homage cover. I think you can tell from there that it is a Fantastic Four book with that lettering and everything. But if you know which issue this is, let us know in the comments. It's always fun to see if people recognize it, recognize the homages. And this one is by, it says Moy R. So.
Okay, Army of Darkness, 1979. So this is issue number 2. And this is a really great premise. We are in New York City in 1979, and Ash is there having to battle against gangs who are modeling themselves after zombies and vampires. So it just sounds like crazy, hilarious Army of Darkness stuff that you know and love. So this is the A cover by Matina, actually. And then definitely wanted to show you guys this.
Wow, look at that.
And there are going to be a few of these coming out, but this is by Felice Ann Forstner, of course, from Stray Dogs. And you see this is a Stray Dogs variant.
That is adorable. And I mean, Army of Darkness is one of my favorite movies. I have that poster hanging in my house. That's incredible.
I'm guessing a lot of people don't know this is coming out, and they're going to be upset when they miss out on it. Because
I agree. I guarantee you this will be under-ordered.
Because
So
Felice has already done one of these. I'm trying to remember the other book
there
he
is
did
one
it
for Invincible Red Sonja, I believe, or I
That
know
was
there's a
it.
Red Sonja one.
Yep, that's the only other one, and we
And
upped
there-
our order considerably when
There
I
is
saw
one
what
more.
it
It
was.
might be on next week. So
That's
I had a
very
customer who
cool.
showed me all these.
But it's also crossing over publishers
Yeah.
too, which is pretty big.
That's crazy.
I suppose that since it was Image for Stray Dogs, they do own their material and they're crossing it over. They're crossbreeding.
If only they had changed the title to Army of Dogness.
Oh yeah.
You gave them the idea.
Good enough. Okay, so this is issue number 2 of Vampiverse. This is the A cover. In it, there's this character, Bloodwing, who's killing all the different vamp characters across sort of the realities, and Vampirella is trying to stop him, and at the same time, figure out who is he? Why is he doing it? So if you enjoyed issue number 1, this is your chance to sign up for the series.
Next up is Search for Who, number 2. I didn't read the number 1 of this, but you read it,
I did.
and it's like a cop mafia type story.
Correct. Yeah, he's having to travel over to China to figure out who. His mom has a dark family past that has, caused a lot of violence finally, and so he has to go over there. But he's an ex-soldier, so he can handle himself, and he's trying to end this blood feud.
So if you liked number 1, make sure that you pre-order number 2.
Next up, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina number 9. They are bringing the series back for this volume 3 arc. So it is written and has the same artist, Robert Sacasa and Roberto Sacasa. So yeah, it's going to be a cool new jumping on point for any Sabrina fans. Once again, just in time for everything. And it looks like, at least with this cover, that they're drawing her slightly more similar to the original Sabrina from Archie Comics. So this is cover A.
It's like is that an homage to first appearance of Sabrina? I
It
think
does look
the
like
first
her,
page
yes.
she appeared in.
Do we still have that?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so another one I've been thoroughly enjoying is Batman 89. So this is issue number 3. This is your chance to sign up. After that, we're going to start, cutting the number down to about how many people are signed up for it. Last issue left Harvey Dent in a burning building. This issue, will Bruce Wayne / Batman be able to get him out in time, or will Harvey leave the building burned, possibly in more ways than one? So this is the A cover, and then we have the B cover by Lee Weeks.
It's a really nice variant.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
Next up, Black Manta number 2 of this new mini-series. I really like number 1, especially the art. It just really fit it super well. But in it, there is a rare metal that Black Manta is after, along with a lot of other people are after it, that kills anyone with Atlantean DNA. So, of course, Black Manta's going to want it because he wants to take down Aquaman. And there's a character, Torrid, who has some ties with Black Manta, who has literally come out of hell to also try to get the metal. So, really good issue 1. I'm excited to see where this series goes. So this is our A cover for Black Manta number 2.
I mean, what an A cover. It's like you're seeing just a freeze frame moment. You want to see that next moment.
Yeah.
Like, where does that go?
I mean, I'm guessing he just gets swallowed and
Oh,
that's
wow.
the end.
Ooh, that's
And
brutal.
then our B cover is by Sanford Green.
Okay, next up is Future State Gotham number 6. This is once again a Rose Besh cover. Looks like it complements the other one pretty well too. So hopefully you picked up number 5, which had not her first DC. Was that her first DC work? I'm not sure.
I think it was.
It might have
Yeah,
been,
it was definitely either way very early. So here is this right on its heels, number 6 for Future State Gotham, the B cover.
And, I'm sure Besh isn't for everyone. That's just how artists are. But you can spot her stuff a mile away. I mean, that just says something when it's like you can just flash the stuff and it's like, I know that's who that is already. She's got it, like half a dozen covers out?
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is issue number 2 of Harley Quinn animated series in a comic form, the Eat, Bang, Kill tour. in this issue, Harley and Poison Ivy are on a road trip, Thelma and Louise style, of course. And they're going to visit Catwoman. They need a favor from her. Of course, Jim Gordon is in hot pursuit. I was telling Andy before the show that one thing I like about this is I've never seen Jim Gordon written this way. Like, Megan, you've been reading this too, where he is clearly not a good guy. He's like losing it. He's over the edge and obsessed with stopping them.
He's on a righteous quest.
Yeah, but in a way that, Jim Gordon's always like seen more sympathetically. In this, he's not the good. You want Harley and Ivy to win pretty clearly.
Yeah, that is true.
I think that's really interesting when they do different versions of a character that you know before. So as much as it's about Harley and Ivy, I kind of like the Gordon edge of it too. So this is the A cover, and here is the B cover, pillow fight cover. And you were telling me, Megan, we sold out of issue number 1.
Of
We
the A
ordered
cover, yeah.
a ton of that. This has been wildly popular around here. So.
Next up, I Am Batman.
You are?
Number 2. Sorry, I didn't mean to admit it. Yeah, so this is the kind of, I feel like it's the official series for Jace Fox as Batman. Because we had all of the miniseries and the Zero issue. This is the main one. We just got issue 1 of this a few weeks ago. And continues... the story that's set kind of in the future, but not all the way to like future state Gotham. And what I thought was also interesting is it did say this was a Fear State tie-in. So we'll have to see what that means. Is it just kind of thematically a tie-in? Because this does take place a decent way in the future.
Yeah.
But of course, this is Oliver Coipel doing the art in this and doing this cover. And then we have the Matina variant.
Very cool.
All right, next up we have a couple of Joker covers for you for Joker number 8. This is cover B by Jorge Molina. And then,
creepy.
Check that out, really cool. This one's awesome. This is the cover C by Aki Bright.
That one's really nice.
That is just fun to look at and pick apart.
Punchline backup story.
Like, look at all the stuff in there. That's neat. Okay, so this is the cover to Justice League Last Ride number 6. Look at Darkseid holding Superman in this.
It's really uncomfortable looking at that face.
It really is. So in this issue, the Justice League, they are trapped on Apocalypse. They're still having to protect Lobo from all of his enemies, and there might be a traitor in their midst. So triple threat with a quadruple threat cover.
Next up is Static Season 1, number 4. This is the Nicholas Draper Ivy variant. Really, really cool. I like the shape of it. That's really cool.
All right, and this is Superman Son of Kal-El number 4, the Inyuk Lee cardstock variant. The Cape on Fire.
Our next cool DC variant. This is for Batman Catwoman number 8. This is the Jim Lee and Scott Williams variant. When Jim Lee does a variant, we show it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rule. That's just how we do it. So, and for good reason.
This cover is so great. This is for Teen Titans Academy number 7 by Steve Lieber. And this took up most of our preparation time. Actually trying to figure out, everyone knows this image of Batman and Robin. But where did it actually come from? So if you know, if you did the deep dive, because it's not that easy to figure out, let us know. Put a gorilla emoji or something in the comments that's a wink to us to say, you know where this is from.
We do know. We do.
We do, finally.
And some of you may instantly know who the original artist was. But not just that, what issue was it from? So
yeah, very cool though. I mean,
yeah, that's hilarious.
That's so good.
All right, this is the variant cover for Titans United number 2. That was one of my favorite reads this past week. It's very high action, fun, but also a lot of mystery going on. So this is number 2, the variant. This is by Cale New. The first one we had featuring Nightwing. We were like, is this going to just be a Nightwing featurette book? But no, here we have Raven as well. So can't wait to see the rest of these as the series goes on.
I mean, that's a great Raven cover.
Yeah.
So, Okay, so this is We Don't Kill Spiders #2 from Black Caravan. So if you enjoyed #1, here's your chance to sign up for #2. The series is about a witch teaming up with a Viking detective, I kid you not, to solve a series of serial murders. So if you missed #1, you like the premise, you can probably still pick it up somewhere.
And next is Wonder Girl #4. This is the Jamal Campbell cover. Another really nice one. I think artists are having a lot of fun with her as a new character.
I know.
Because there's always so much energy and life in these variant covers for her.
Yeah.
All right, Wonder Woman #780. This is actually the A cover by Travis Moore, so we wanted to show it off. It's really gorgeous. Wonder Woman with the world behind her. This is a slightly oversized issue, but it's the same price as normal. So super cool.
And she is high up in space. Okay, so this is Hardware #3. This is the Cowan cardstock variant. So we just want everyone to know, issue #3, time to sign up for it if you like it. In this issue, he is leaving Dakota City, not forever. He's going to Singapore. He has to follow a lead in Singapore. So kind of cool to see some of the characters leaving Dakota City, showing that they're going to keep expanding this little universe outward.
Next up is Pennyworth #3 of 7. So another one. If you like #1, you're getting #2, sign up so you make sure you get all of them, because this is #3 in this limited series that's a kind of a continuation of the TV show.
All right, this is Invincible Red Sonja #5. There's so many covers that you could check out with this one, but we wanted to showcase the Frank Cho cover D. And what does she say here? She says, I can't read it from here, but it's like, I'm not Xena. Quit
Right.
confusing me with Xena.
I mean, that's wonderful because Xena is clearly taken from her.
Yeah.
So they're just playing on that whole thing. That's why these Cho covers, they've been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just let's show her and let's have her say something funny and snarky. Okay, so next up, we are going to present other printings, second, third prints, and graphic novels. So let's begin. I got a bunch of them. So I'm going to start with Department of Truth. This is trade paperback volume 2. It's going to be $16.99, following Cole Turner and his quest in the war for truth. So if you've been enjoying this series and you want to pick it all up together, or you've been waiting for trades to come out, this is your chance to order it. Now, along with that, Image has announced that it has been so popular, which we can attest to with our own store. I think they put issue 1 through 11 back. They're reprinting all of them. So a lot of the reprints are on this week. So here is issue #7 is getting a second print. Issue #8 is getting a second print. And issue #9 is getting a second print. And I believe there's going to be even more in upcoming weeks. But I just saw the announcement, and these are the few that they have on this week's order cutoff.
I think there's more.
Oh,
yeah,
there is.
read your little notes.
You know what? It indented. The indent threw me off. So this is issue 10, second print. Then we have issue 11, second print, and issue 12, second print. So clearly, it's more than just the
7
first
through
11.
12.
Yeah, 7 through 12. So
Next up is Dark Ages #1, the second print, the Coelho variant, second print. And this is big because, we were excited about this because it's Tom Taylor, kind of doing his own thing. It's not super tied in with continuity. And we ordered a lot of this, and we sold out, which is pretty big, for an event book, because we order up on event books.
we do.
But very popular. So if you missed that #1, or you want to get all the covers, be sure to grab this one, the second printing.
We'll be getting some for the shelves. We need it. I'm glad they announced the second on this one.
All right, another one going back to second print. This is the mini-series for Darkhawk 1 through 5 it's going to be. And this is the second printing of issue #1. Also getting the treatment.
Third print for Moon Knight #1 by Jed MacKay, which has been a fantastic read. Issue 1 was great. Issue 2 was solid. Issue 3, which I've gotten to read an early copy of, great. So just grab it. We got a first appearance of a new major Moon Knight character. I will keep buying these if they keep just making new printings.
Next up is Trial of Magneto, #1, third printing. Been very popular, especially with the big twist from this last issue. So if you've missed out on the hype of Trial of Magneto, here's your chance to get the #1.
Sorry, the chalk line of the body, that just makes me laugh.
Yeah. Considering who it's supposed to be a chalk line of, I don't really know if that fits.
I know, yeah.
All right, next up is White, #3, second printing. With these second prints, it's probably your first chance to get these. So White #3, second printing.
A lot of good second printings this week.
More.
This is the second print for the Me You Love in the Dark #1, the hit new series from Scotty Young, showing that guy, he could stretch in so many directions. It's about an artist in this desolate house and this spirit presence and their interactions. So going back to second print, another one we might be sold out of, or
I don't know. We got a good bit of them.
yeah, we've definitely sold a lot of it though.
Yeah. Try to be smart with these. All right, next up we have some omnibuses and some omnibuy, some graphic novels. This is the Incredible Hulk Omnibus, Volume 1, the Kirby Direct Market variant. Only $100 for a lot of good stuff. Always good. I mean, I'm used to omnibuses being $125, $150. Yeah. So this reprints Incredible Hulk 1 through 6, Tales to Astonish 100, Incredible Hulk 102, and material from issues 59 through 101. So lots of good stuff in here. Great for any Hulk fan. This is a fantastic cover to have on this omnibus. But you get a second option. This is the Ross variant.
Interesting. Like, we gotta go back and forth and see that, because
see the update.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Next up is Star Wars Legends Empire Omnibus Volume 1. So this is a continuation of Marvel reprinting some of the older Dark Horse books. And I really like this one because I've read a lot of this. This is 992 pages. And it will be $125. But it collects a ton of stuff, kind of post episode 3. Stuff that's not in continuity necessarily anymore, but still great reads about kind of the formation of the Empire and them taking over. And it looks like it collects a lot of the Darth Vader series that were out that time. There was a bunch of one-shots called Darth Vader Purge. They were basically just Darth Vader hunting down the Jedi that were left. Really good. Had great Adam Hughes covers on a lot of those. Darth Vader in the Ghost Prison. Just really, really cool stuff. So this is the main cover, the Sandra cover, and then we have the direct market variant by Wilkins.
Very cool. All right, another awesome omnibus from Marvel is Young Avengers. This is a hardcover that collects pretty much all the Young Avengers stuff. It costs $100. You're going to have 2 cover options. This is the main cover that shows that #1 from Young Avengers. I believe that came out in 2005. So, of course, the premise is the Avengers, the Avengers proper team disbands for a certain reason, and so these younger heroes take over the mantle. It includes Patriot, Iron Lad, Asgardian, Hulkling, Hawkeye, and Stature. I believe that's all of them. And so let me tell you what's in this. This collects Young Avengers number 1 through 12, the one-shot special after that, and then Avengers Children Crusade 1 through 9, and a few other odds and ends that they were in at the time. So you get pretty much all their stuff for just $100. Here is the regular cover, and then here's the direct market variant cover if you prefer something a little different than that #1 cover.
All right, this is Wonder Woman, the Silver Age Omnibus. It's going to be $100. Really great cover here. And this is going to reprint material from, it actually collects Wonder Woman 98 through 123. Many of these are reprinted in color for the first time. And it's going to tell us stories that introduce Wonder Girl, Wonder Tot, and just a lot more from the 50s and 60s. So a really cool one to grab.
I wonder why she was wanted in this issue. Like I don't know the cover. It's neat though. It's really good.
Next, we have Why the Last Man. This is the compendium, and we have gotten the compendium before, but this is the one for the TV show. I haven't watched it yet. Megan's watched it, so we know a little bit of everything. This collects the first 31 issues of the series. So if you're watching the show and you really want to get into it, this is a great way to read it and get it all in one place instead of having to get the individual trades. And this is going to be only $59.99.
Megan, what's your review of the show so far?
I like it. Yeah, I think it's got excellent production value. I'm invested in all the characters. It's, you know, everything. We'll see what's going on. I want to see the mystery unfolding. So I haven't fully read the comic, so I'm curious.
I have it, so I know more.
I wonder if they'll deviate it at all the way that Walking Dead did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'd be interested
Yeah.
in.
Guess how
since
the
they're both
reception of season
FX.
1 goes for fans.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our show for this week.
Woo.
All right, thank you so much for joining us on Comics from the Future. If you would like to order any of the books you saw here and you don't have a local comic shop, we're going to pop up some info on the screen for you. If you want to contact us, we'll be happy to help you out. Otherwise, let your store know what here you liked, what you want to pre-order so that you make sure you get it. And we will see you next week.
And those of you watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our updates or upcoming shows. Thank you.